Coming to get you, Brian. Coming to get you. To get
I
you.
flew around with the fireworks at the very end of the map as I just kind of talked through it, and so that was very fun.
Yeah,
So I appreciated that.
that's what's it really good at. I kind of like the aesthetic actually of all the fires on top of the pillars. Actually, look
Oh,
really
now that we've
cool.
lit them and turned off fire tech.
Mm-hmm. I could just put like one piece of netherrack and then basically conceal the netherrack like this. But I
Sorry, I've lost track of where you are.
I'm down beneath. Let me.
I'm at the entrance of
Oh,
dungeon 2.
I'm right
I see
behind
you.
you.
There we go.
Yes. Okay. But yeah, just doing something like this on every pillar is kind of like an interesting idea.
Yeah, the trade-off is lighting cues and actually hiding something there versus just the aesthetic. But if it was just for dungeon 2, for example, since this was also a super fiery dungeon, yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I
Just for
would
the
only put
aesthetic.
in one dungeon, yeah. That's kind of what I like to do with aesthetics if people want to improve, like make maps and see how they would do aesthetics well. Is light is a big key, and doing just one detail that has light, like just putting light on like fire on all the pillars, would
Right.
already look really interesting in like a dark area.
Right. It does
So
look really cool. It does also have the side effect of making this dungeon easier because creepers fell on everyone's head that I've watched.
that's what is good at. Like what is Aura called? Them drop creepers, ninja creepers.
But yeah, these canyon walls are very scary and deadly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that
That's
was
just
another reason that I chose not to do this dungeon early,
that's a
just
side.
because, yeah,
Yeah.
it just seemed like an inventory wipe waiting to happen.
That's just a side effect of World Painter, which that's what I use to make the
Oh, that
general
makes
thing.
so many ledges? Is that what you're saying?
Hmm.
I see.
Yeah, it's not such a sharp transition. Like if you kind of look at it, it's just a really steep slope, but
Mm-hmm.
then blockified, basically or pixelated.
Right, right. I see. So there's nothing that's kind of like totally sheer vertical to prevent kind of spawning spaces and to make sure that monsters will take enough fall damage if they do jump down on you that uh,
Mm,
they would die. And so yeah, these monsters would just kind of walk down until they were 5 or 10 blocks above you and then jump on your head.
mm-hmm. And then we enter the cave, if you didn't already,
Okay, I'm headed over there.
to the cave. Hey, I see you burning my bridges.
I thought you had fire tick turned off.
Still, I don't appreciate my bridges being on fire, guy.
I see.
Not that I didn't set a flame to them my own.
Let's see. Yeah, skeleton spawner here in the emerald. Yeah, and so the ender chest here, it was a good location for the ender chest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it
This is
has the
where,
trade-off of breaking convention.
yeah, this is kind of where the actual dungeon starts, kind of.
I disagree. I
Okay.
found the first part harder than the second part, I think. Admittedly, I came to the second part in like diamond armor, so I guess
Oh
you
yeah.
probably have to invalidate some of what I'm saying.
Mm,
Um,
yeah, I wouldn't say that too
yeah,
loud because of the blaze spawners and the kind of the lack of arrow and bow.
yeah. I guess people don't have arrows very much. You gave away like 32 arrows, I think, in this chest. No, more than that.
It's a stack,
That's
I
a
think.
stack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
16 and 32. Yeah. And this bow can shoot 2 stacks. Yeah, 127 durability.
Right.
It's 2 stacks of arrows. This dungeon used to be so difficult with just the blazes and not being able to kill them
Mm-hmm.
because you didn't have a bow and arrow because that came from the spider place.
Right.
So this was kind of necessary. And there used to be a block chest right here. And what some people would do is like, oh, blocks. Oh, hey, there's this tall thingy-majigger over here. Well, let's go.
Yep.
This is what he wants us to
Yeah, a
do,
blocks
right?
chest would totally break things, and I think there used to be logs over here, and there aren't logs over here anymore.
Mm-hmm. That's what's that's I think I said right before you played this, like, oh, you need to wait before playing it, just because of
I see.
This
Okay. Yeah. So I've been
just
watching Preox and Travel Dog, and yeah, they had logs over here, and that was more temptation to come in this direction. And yeah, in
mhm.
my version of the map, like I got this chest, and I hardly even gave a glance over here, and it wasn't until
Oh yes, so
oh
you did.
well, no, I'd already completed Dungeon 4 because I didn't do Dungeon 2 until late. That's what it was, and so I already knew it was over
Oh
here. That's
yes, you
right.
did. Yes, they yeah, they I think Preox also said yeah that there was so much logs, so much wood over here.
Right. So it tempts the player to go in the direction that you don't want them to go. So that was a
It's
good
kind.
change.
It's mainly oh you get to this area and then oh wood starvation is over. Like that's kind of what this area used to be, and now your brown mushroom or whatever. Yeah, this is brown mushroom. Now your
Right.
brown mushroom starvation is over.
Yeah, I always found myself not having enough red mushrooms to go with the brown. And that's kind of like normal Minecraft, so I didn't mind that.
Hmm. For some reason, just red mushrooms are rarer.
Yeah. So you gave out two bows because there was that bow at the beginning, and then I think there's like a power two bow also in a chest somewhere later in this
Yes, that's
dungeon.
the key loot item, if you want to call it
I
that.
see. Okay, got it. And that's like up on a pillar over here, just past the first blaze spawner, maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's the blaze spawner, and here is the power two punch two bow, which is a very nice piece of loot.
Hmm. So this is basically the first big reveal where you see all these pillars, and I guess I expected more people to go like, "Wow, hey, what?" It's like, "Oh, shiny ball." Oh, ugh. Okay, I need to.
Is this intentional, or is this just some freak accident?
Yeah, that's a really weird accident.
I see.
Oh
So there
no,
isn't a chest hidden here.
we don't make accidents here. We only make happy little
Happy,
mistakes. Well,
happy mistake.
happy little mistakes. Um, yeah, what I was saying, this was meant to be like the first big wow moment. And at first, the idea was is that the dungeon would end right here with like a big platform, and then you would see this big open cave, and it would be like, wow, this is big, and it would just be for visuals.
Uh huh.
But the dungeon was too short, and I basically turned it into the rest of the dungeon. The
Okay.
obsidian islands kind of came from the typical magma texture that you like lava normally has. Like lava
Okay.
in real life, I think, has like all
Uh
these
huh.
black spots.
Right.
And kind of that's where the all these islands came from. And it
Okay.
gives this unique gameplay as well.
I think maybe. I guess there is enough light. There isn't much light right at the ceiling.
This
I don't know.
area, this area used to be max spawn because it's so far away. So there's like a honeypot or two right above
I
here. Let me
see.
see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there are two. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have too much trouble with spawns, but I'm not seeing the honeypots right now either. Oh, it's above?
Mm-hmm. There are two
I see.
above.
Yep. Got
One
it.
far into the air and one between the ice
Yep. Okay,
cave
I see
and
it
this
now.
one.
All right. Yeah. So those honey. Oops. Those honeypots are good. Don't go back into creative mode when you're stuck in the wall.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Just press. I think you know this, right? With F3 and N.
F3N. Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
always using to toggle.
It's so
Um,
nice that they did that.
yes. So I come to this area late, and so I was interested to take a water bucket to bridge to the back, but I didn't. So I was
Oh,
glad that Kit finally did to discover the secret hidden chest over here, which is I think there's at least two chests that have this loot in the map: three diamonds and
yeah.
two golden apples.
Let me see. There's the one here. There's one in Ice Cave, and there's one in the Redstone. No, there's one in the Glowstone Cave as well. That
Yes, in the
nobody.
glowstone cave.
Yeah.
Preox found it. I just saw that today.
Oh yeah, and then
I was
they
catching up on
also.
the
Yeah.
spots.
They are good at spotting stuff, man. I saw they had 10 emeralds. I'm like, whoa, what? Already 10?
Yep,
I would not be surprised if they will find all 12 in the end.
I see. Yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility. Um, but yeah, that one in the when we get to the glowstone cave, like I was curious to know how many extremely difficult to find things there were
Yeah,
because
this is one of them, and this is one of I could have given out like a diamond axe or a diamond sword. I think this is more interesting. Like,
yes, I
what will you
definitely
do
agree
with
that it's
three
more interesting.
diamonds?
Once again, you give the player choices, and yeah,
And if you save this stuff and then find one of the other two chests, then it
you've got
means, and
enchanting early if you get the lapis. Yep,
that was the idea behind this.
yep, yep. I've been thinking about that in terms of speed running. Speed running, you wouldn't stop to enchant, but kind of like rather than speed running, kind of like overpowered quick playthrough.
Hmm.
I guess is more of what I've been thinking through, and
Kind of like
yeah,
how I think Evo did like a
yes,
quick
exactly. He did that
playthrough.
on Spellbound Caves, I think.
Spellbound Rush, Calamity Rush.
Indeed. But yeah, for this was I don't know, kind of like a standard dungeon. I've watched a few people play through it with the gear that they would have, and
A
yeah,
linear branching dungeon. It's really linear. You could go off a few paths for some extra loot.
right. You gave out there was a nice blocks chest in here as well. That I can't remember. Yeah, I guess this box chest was here um,
More
from the get
ladders.
go,
Your favorite.
and as a result of skipping this dungeon, I didn't have all of these nice ladders so early on. So yeah, there were a number of ways that I kind of screwed myself by choosing to try to get ahead to get better loot, and I ended up missing some of the key pieces of loot as a result of doing that. Oops.
Hmm. Oh wait, oh yeah,
Um,
I didn't put any coal blocks behind these
yeah,
ones.
that's what I was just going to check. I
Forgot.
presumed you only did it in a few of the starter caves or something.
Uh, I didn't
Probably the one in
really.
the desert that's right by the monument.
Yes,
Yeah,
really in the really big patches of coal. Because if there's
yeah,
more coal, there should be probably more densely populated coal blocks as well.
right. Um, yeah, so this dungeon was straightforward. It obviously could be very punishing, and I did see a few people who ended up falling in lava and losing all their stuff. But once again, it's kind of early on in the map, and so it's not awful. But at this point, you'd kind of built up some stuff. But hopefully, people were, I don't know, giving themselves a leg up and it stuffed some useful things in their ender chest. And I say hopefully
Um,
because a lot of people don't do that. Uh, and yeah, I guess with the ender chest there, also you could stash away the wool and the emerald if you grabbed it without having to worry about possibly a random creeper knocking you off on the way back or something.
mhm. This
So
dungeon is kind of like that one alley in the street. Like you don't go there.
I see. So Dread
Mm.
Alley.
Dread Alley. That's where it kind of came from
I see.
in terms of the name. I feel like my naming in this map got kind of more creative, at least with some of them. At least
It
with.
definitely it was more creative from the point of view of there's so many maps that you play at this point that it seems like they use the uh I don't know. I almost want to call it like Vexian name generator or something.
Yeah, like something of something. Castle of Death.
Yeah. Seems like you could yeah have a good procedural generation of dungeon names that just uses a few nouns and adjectives and whatever. And so yeah, it definitely a number of the dungeons here did not follow that, and kind of fit well into the whole kind of desert canyon southwestern-ish kind of feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Although a number of people did comment that I saw that the I don't know, it's kind of Taj Mahal kind of look of the monument and the Arcanium and seemed out of place. Didn't fit with the rest of the desert theme, and so I mean, it's just a matter of like you built a cool castle, and if it happens to be out of place, so be it. Or is there any rationale?
This
Or
the Taj Mahal buildings originally came from Avatar: The Last Airbender. You had this one library in it. I could actually send you a picture afterwards of how it looked. Um, and yeah, the last dungeon as well is mainly inspired by that just building styles, and I really just liked it, and it fits the desert feeling. So I
mm-hmm.
just even though they're really far apart in real life,
Right.
I think they work well together as well.
I see.
Especially because it gives a different time frame. Because these ruins were here before the Wild Western stuff, with
I
what you
see.
could kind of learn with the lore
Right.
and the terrain, basically.
Were there only, I think I ended up finding 5 books of the journals. Were there only those 5, or do you remember?
There's a chest somewhere.
I see that has all of them.
I think this one. There's 7, and I removed 1 or 2, so you probably missed one.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there's one. Yeah, okay. I don't remember where they all are. That's the problem again.
Yeah. This is another example of something that No Leaf Clover just happened to be standing in the monument, and he was like, "Look, there's a red block that's out of place right there." And
I made this more obvious, I think.
oh, this is the
Oh
same
no,
way that it
wait.
was in mine.
Yeah.
I mean, let me put
Yeah,
out
but
the
still.
fire.
Oh yeah. If you're looking at it, yeah, I can see it quite obvious.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm not good at distinguishing fine shades of color.
I mean,
Um,
especially with your monitor, that's
yeah.
mainly the thing I think.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's probably a big thing too. But fortunately, I decided that I wanted to come up to the roof just so I could get a lookout and try to see if there were any other secrets I could spot. And when I came up to the roof, I unexpectedly found this one. And I think this had one of the good books in it, possibly. Oh no, it's got.
It's
It's.
probably had because this is one of the
Oh, it's been
random.
updated as random loot kind of things.
Oh wait, is this one randomly generated? Was it always that? I think yeah, I think this is one of the non-pre-generated ones
I see.
because the books you get do not come directly from a they aren't randomly generated. They come from a separate loot table.
Right. So that you can
Right.
pick and choose so that you're only giving,
Mhm.
like blast protection 2 or projectile protection 2 and not giving protection in those.
Yeah, protection is just rarer in these chests.
Um, yeah, so I came up here to look, and yeah, sure enough, I was able to see like the shrubs that are on top of the little pillar over here to go find some iron. And I think I saw one other thing when I came up here. I don't remember what it was offhand.
Probably the tall cactus to the right. Right. Get a boat. Get a boat.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't remember.
Right. Oh, you already found it. Oh,
And yeah, did I ever? I don't remember if I explored this or saw anyone else explore this offhand. It's just more iron. What was that?
I don't know. Maybe a flying creeper.
Oh
Oh
wow,
man,
good shot.
that was actually a really good shot.
Yeah,
I'm
that was
really
a good
skilled,
shot.
you know.
Hmm.
Something stuck in my throat.
Yeah, the anvil down here was cool. That was the only anvil I found early in the game, and it broke after like 3 uses or something. So I was sad.
Oh, yeah, luck.
There was something else I wanted to point out at the monument, I think. So there was the chest up there.
If
Oh, right. I wanted to just do like the F3 move. I see. So basically, the teleport to the final dungeon, I guess, is always here. And then there's just a probably bedrock wall that gets eliminated after you open up the teleporter. Yeah.
yes, yeah, keep looking at it. I will. No, just keep looking at the wall.
Okay.
I will go into survival mode now, and then it just gets updated.
Oh, so
As
just
it.
whenever you're teleported to this location and you're in survival, it just automatically opens it up then. Got it.
There's like an executes test for play
Right.
that's right
I
about
see. And so
here.
that's some of the command blocks that we saw that are right below the monument. Okay.
And it's at such a place where people would not build something.
Right. That was the other thing I
So
was wondering about. So obviously you're protected in bedrock anyway, but it never even occurred to me to like think about the dimensions of the castle and be like, there's a big open space under here that I could wonder what's down there.
yeah, I try to be really careful with the replace commands here as well.
Yes.
Like it removes all this, it replaces all the bedrock right from here to here. Oh, you're not seeing me, of course.
Sorry, I'll come back down. Okay, removes the bedrock
So
from here to here. Yep, I see now.
yeah, this from this gets replaced into sandstone, So you get this sandstone shell basically,
Uh-huh.
and then from this to this, all the sandstone gets replaced with air.
Yeah. And
So
yeah,
there's
I
kind of no way how it could break stuff.
right. And yeah, I tend to also be like too concerned about it or whatever. It's like, what if the player randomly decides that they want to build a chest storage room in that exact spot? But
Hmm.
it never really happens that way. So you can go a little bit too overboard. People pointed out that I guess this is kind of like designed to be a fountain, and then once I had a water bucket, I could have put a fountain there and it would have looked pretty, and it never occurred to me to do that. So,
Yep,
oops.
it's kind of meant like one of those Arabic kind of gardens you have on you see somewhere on the palaces,
Mm-hmm.
palaci, where it's just kind of lush and all tropical in these platforms.
Right. And yeah, again, it's just, I think, because I'm not observant and I talked about it in some later episodes, but the fact that this was a tower that fell off the monument corner over here, and the hay bales down here were in a tower that decayed and kind of like fell off the monument over here. Like, I just, I didn't see it until people pointed it out. Just because it's like I see blocks and blocks are just terrain, and it's just like here's another thing for me to step over or another room to like hide some loot in, rather than this was part of the tower of the monument
Hmm.
castle that
I've
fell.
started, I've started to really like that of just breaking part of it and just turning it over, like rotating it.
Mm-hmm.
I found a really nice filter, shaded filter for that. That just
Right.
easily, instead of building it myself,
Yep.
like the whole tower right over near the red desert
Yep.
has that as well. Where it's just the whole tower. I just copied it, flipped it over, and just pasted it in. Done.
That's cool. And so I guess the palace that is over there is pretty much like this palace minus the sea lanterns.
Yes, there's some more going on there with design, but
Okay. Um, yeah, it's a good way to be able to kind of like reuse and just make some changes and tweaks to the art assets. Um, yeah.
yeah, there's the same circular room, like where the crystal is above ground.
Right.
That circular room is used while, like, that's the first time it's used, and in the beginning of the Palace of Ordeal, it's
Right.
used, and right at the end, it's used again. But the just how you go through that specific same room is
Mm-hmm.
changed every time and how it looks. So just reusing assets, but just giving it a little twist is really time efficient
Right.
with structure building. And it's kind of just something to keep in mind while making maps because
Yeah.
it can take so much time to just make every single room or hallway.
Right.
Just copy pasting in is not the best idea either, but varying up that copy pasted
Yeah.
room
I
is
feel
a
like
good idea.
you've done a very good job in terms of the sweet spot of being able to reuse with some tweaks so that it doesn't feel like it's getting repetitive or doesn't feel like it's just cut and paste jobs, but still
Hmm.
manages to let you make a lot of content in a shorter amount of time. For
Yep.
some reason, I've seen 3 different people dig into this pillar.
Yeah, why?
I don't
It's just
know
a
why.
pillar.
Like everybody
Just a
just wants to
pillar.
dig here for some reason.
Yeah, it's kids. You're not finding Dungeon Run right here.
But yeah, I made the joke to you that you could just like hide all the wool there, and that would be the way to speedrun the map.
You just put brown wool right here.
Brown, actually, that would be funny since it's not
Yeah,
one of the colors that you need on this map.
yeah, that would be so funny. Just a random wool box right there. Oh, by the way.
Yeah. There's another secret that no one has found. Oh, that's a great chest. It's not overpowered, but it's something that everyone wants.
It's your.
It's convenience.
Mm-hmm. It's all this glass. It's your house building chest.
Yeah. That was one of the things that yeah, due to the resource starvation and the game mechanics or whatever, like not having a lot of wood and worrying about using up your tool durability potentially, um, prevented me from potentially doing building. I'm unlikely to build anyway, but if the room with the trees and the grass and everything, rather than being at the end of the map, if instead it were at the end of dungeon 8 or 9, I might have then chosen to do some building at
Yeah.
the end of the map.
I really liked it as kind of
It's fine the way it
final
is.
reward at the
It's
end.
fine the way it is as that, because it's more of kind of an aesthetic reward or whatever. But in terms of giving the player blocks to build with, if it had come a little bit earlier, it wouldn't have added kind of overpoweringness, and it would have been a reward that you could then kind of like take advantage of in game. And so I might have, if I had an infinite amount of wood convenient here to farm at the monument, I might have done a torch grid of the entire map in order to try to find most of the rest of the secrets. But at the
Yes.
end of the map, after I'd already gotten the last wool, there was no way that I was going to do it then. So
That's one of the drawbacks, in my opinion, of this map. Just the lack of farming and the lack of being able to build
right,
without grinding for blocks.
right.
That's something I am keeping in mind for the next map.
Yeah, it's. I don't think there's any good way to kind of mediate that trade-off. And so if you're going for a resource-starved map, to some extent, people who enjoy building and farming, yeah, just aren't going to have as much of an opportunity to do it
Oh,
within the context of your
yeah.
map. And so,
Next map will still have it kind of late, but not so late like
right,
in this map where it's
right.
basically already over.
And yeah, and I've also talked about that before in terms of like making sure that like the final dungeon should not have good loot because the map is already over, and so the good loot is not of use to people. Untold Stories 5. Da, da, da,
Or
da, da, da.
yeah, that's a good 5, right?
It's good enough that I know what it says. Up. We saw it briefly. It looked like a number 6 briefly, and so
Oh yeah, that's good to US6. US6 confirmed. Actually,
that's right.
US6 is quite far in development already, which is great.
That is
Because it
great.
kind of gives me a buffer as well for releasing it, because people are still playing this one,
Yes, definitely.
so it's no
Um,
rush, and especially with real life things going on at the moment,
right. Do you
it
think
gives
US
me some free time.
6 will be also 112?
Oh no! I think I already made the functions for 1.13 for it.
I see.
And it's especially with all the stuff going on inside it. I was messing around with some people on the realm as well, and the realm just started lagging like crazy because of all the stuff going on.
I see.
Because it's really command block heavy, so I
I
need to
see.
optimize it a lot.
Yeah, well, if you need help with that at any point, feel free to ping me.
Oh yeah, I
And
will.
yeah, I guess that means, yeah, US 6 probably isn't coming out for another 3 months, would be my guess.
Oh,
Uh,
is it really going to take that long for Mojang guys to finish?
I mean, they just keep adding content. And if you want to make a software project late, add more features.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my guess
Let's
is mid June
see.
at the earliest, but we'll see
Mid
as time goes
June.
on.
Oh, yeah, I could easily be done by then, actually. I could be done between now and a month
I see.
if I really wanted to.
Well, it'll be fun to
But
have lots of things to look forward to whenever it happens, and maybe they'll surprise
mhm.
me and do it early. And I hope that they do surprise me and do it early. It doesn't mean that lots of things are broken.
Oh, I hope so as well.
All right. Well, this is the amount of time that I had to record for today, so this probably could be a good place to call it for our first
Oh,
recording session. But obviously, we have a lot more of the map
yes.
to visit again in the future once we find the time to coordinate. But thanks for showing up, and I always enjoy doing these after the
Mhm.
fact to hear about design and just kind of talk and chat about random things.
Yeah, thanks for for flint and steel. Oh wait, you have one already, right?
Yes.
Wait, the other way, maybe like that way. Yeah, thank you for having me on as well. Yeah, it's like a diving board. Whee! Oh.
Oh, look, see, you ended up in the same place that everybody else goes.
Oh, I found something.
You did?
Yeah, you know what it is?
What is it?
It's brown wool. Oh, and I burned to death. Oh god.
Good job.
Uh,
All right, see you again soon, folks.
See ya.